இன்றைய செய்திக் கதம்பத்தில் PSLV-C-60 ராக்கெட் மூலம் ஸ்பேடெக்ஸ் செயற்கைக்கோள்கள் வெற்றிகரமாக விண்ணில் நிலைநிறுத்தப்பட்டது குறித்து இஸ்ரோ தலைவர் திரு சோம்நாத் செய்தியாளர்களுக்கு அளித்த பேட்டி மற்றும் மத்திய அரசின் சமூக வலைதள பதிவுகள் உள்ளிட்டவை இடம்பெறுகின்றன. PSLV-C-60 ராக்கெட் மூலம் ஸ்பேடெக்ஸ் செயற்கைக்கோள்கள் வெற்றிகரமாக விண்ணில் செலுத்தப்பட்டது. விண்ணில் செலுத்தப்பட்ட 15 நிமிடங்களில் இது 476 கிலோமீட்டர் உயர சுற்றுவட்ட பாதையில் நிலைநிறுத்தப்பட்டதாக இஸ்ரோ தலைவர் திரு சோம்நாத் செய்தியாளர்களிடம் தெரிவித்தார். அவர் பேசுகையில்,
Rocket has placed the satellites in the right orbit, which is 475 km circular orbit. That's only one part of the mission, injection of the SpaceX satellites. Now, in another 15 minutes, the fourth stage of PSLV will change its orbit from 475 km to 350 km lower orbit by first phase of firing, and also the second phase of firing will be at about 1 hour 20 minutes later after the liftoff. So that process is continuing to enable POEM operations to happen. Further to that, spacecraft is also going to wait for the solar panel deployment. So the team spacecraft is looking at whether the panels are deployed or not. So we'll get a confirmation soon. As far as the rocket is concerned, so it has placed the satellite in the right orbit. The SpaceX 2 satellites are moved. You would have seen in the animation that they moved little one behind the other. So over the period of time, for the days, it will pick up further distance, travel to almost a 20 kilometer distance away, and then rendezvous and docking process will start, and we hope that the docking process can happen in another 1 week. The nominal time is going to be approximately 7th of January. Yes, so I would like to say that the panels of the satellites have been deployed successfully. Very important part is of this mission is a POEM-4, where we have 24 payloads hosted, which are from the startups, industries, academic institutions, research laboratories, and also from ISRO centers. All the R&D payloads are there waiting for testing in the coming days, in fact in months. The concept of the docking experiment in orbit has been a long journey in terms of conceptualization, the architecture of these 2 satellites that came about, and building it over many years of work done by the team at URSC, UR Rao Satellite Center. We are waiting for the PS4 stage to change its orbit. It will be happening any moment. We are in the data non-availability zone. We will get soon the confirmation. And the whole night we will be watching that part, but we won't keep you waiting for it. We will get to know about it tomorrow morning. The orbit of the PS4 stage will change to 350 kilometers, where the POEM payloads will be initiated, and based on the ground commands, each of the payloads will be tested. There are very interesting payloads on board, which many of you would have already read from our websites about the robotic activities, as well as many of the interesting life science related payloads, as well as propulsion related payloads in the POEM. So we have the teams from many startups, industries, academic institutions enabled by InSpace to be brought to the POEM. There are 10 payloads from InGES, and there are around 11 payloads from ISRO centers testing various technologies.
இந்தியாவின் விண்வெளி ஆய்வு மையத்திற்கு உபகரணங்கள் மற்றும் பொருட்களை கொண்டு செல்வதற்கான தொழில்நுட்பத்தை சோதிக்கும் வகையில் இந்த செயற்கைக்கோள்கள் வடிவமைக்கப்பட்டுள்ளது குறித்து இதன் திட்ட இயக்குநர் திரு ஜெயக்குமார் பேசுகையில்,
We have 24 payloads on board, and congratulations to the team who have developed these payloads adhering to our schedules, and congratulations to InSpace for facilitating the delivery of these payloads. This time we are flying the indigenous Vikram 3201 based mission management computer in POEM. Also, we have interesting experiments like space robots doing debris capture and in-swarm walking, then plasmaspheric and electron density measurements. 3 biological experiments are there, advanced inertial sensors, green propulsion systems, etc. And this month, in fact, we had 2 launches of PSLV from the same launch pad, that is the first launch pad. So after the first launch, the SDC team, SHART team, was very quick in refurbishing the launch pad. Special thanks to them, and also to the teams in VSSC. We also had the movement of the fully integrated vehicle, that is up to the PS4 stage from PIF to MST. So let me thank the SDSC and VSSC teams for making this possible.
இஸ்ரோவின் ஸ்பேடெக்ஸ் டைரக்டர் திரு சுரேந்திரன் பேசுகையில்,
I'm happy to share the news that our solar panels are successfully deployed, and the SpaceX are on their journey towards the docking experiment experiment, which is expected to be happening around January 1st week. This mission is very interesting and challenging, not just because of our space docking experiment, the interesting POEM-4 payloads, which are also unique and futuristic in nature. Let me congratulate all our POEM team members, payload team, for their further operation success. Crossing this important milestone of our SpaceX project, SpaceX has undergone various review mechanisms. I would like to put on record my sincere appreciation and gratitude to all our committee members for their invaluable guidance and contributions. As you are aware, the space sector is going through a phase change to enable the private participation in a big way to meet our growing demands. As per our latest space policy guidelines, as an enabler, FedEx was assembled, integrated and tested at a vendor premises for the first time. As earlier, many other industries also have significantly contributed for the fabrication and testing of the subsystem packages. I am sure that with that kind of a support and effort put forth, we will be successful in meeting all the mission objectives of docking, undocking, power transfer and payload operations.
பெங்களூருவில் உள்ள செயற்கைக்கோள் மையத்தின் இயக்குநர் திரு சங்கரன் பேசுகையில்,
The vehicle has given a small delta V by delaying the second satellite separation by about 3 seconds, and this will about 10 meters per second rate this distance will grow, and we are expecting the two satellites will get separated by about 20 kilometers. At this point we will start using the onboard propulsion system on one of the two satellites to arrest the drift so that we maintain 20 kilometer distance between the two satellites, and like twins they will be going around in the same orbit with the same speed. We have to wait for 4 days for the appropriate sun orientation for the docking to happen, because in this orbit the sun is going to go all around the spacecraft body. So we require another 4 days of wait for the sun relative position to come in a favorable condition, so that in the docking orientation the two spacecraft will generate sufficient power. At this point again we will initiate the drift of the two satellites, so that the 20 kilometer distance is progressively reduced to 5 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers, like that it will reduce. And after we reach 5 kilometer onwards, we are going to enable the inter-satellite RF link between these two satellites, so that the two satellites will talk to each other and exchange their own position, attitude, this kind of information they will exchange, which will enable us to evaluate the software logics which are there in the spacecraft, and also the several new sensors that have been developed by our laboratory for electro-optic systems, Bangalore. These sensors will be one by one evaluated for their fitness for initiating this docking sequence. So docking sequence will start once the inter-satellite distance is reduced to 1.5 kilometers. From there onwards, 3 different guidance algorithms are going to be used to minimize propellant consumption but achieve the required movement between the two satellites without actually deviating too much away, so that the sensors do not lose a line of sight among these two. It's a very innovative way this has been done. And once we reach 3 meters, the final guidance algorithm will be initiated, which will be a constant velocity PV guidance, it is called. With the constant velocity of about 10 millimeters per second, the chaser satellite will go and enter into the target satellite. This will be detected by another sensor on board the satellite, which will initiate the docking sequence inside the two satellites. So with the initiation of this sequence, the latches will be released and the clamps on both sides will try to grab each of the satellite, so that from both sides the satellite will try to hug each other, and once they hold each other together, the ring which has been extended on the chaser satellite will be retracted, so that the target satellite will be pulled towards the chaser satellite, and the two satellites will become as a single unit. And here the rigidization will be carried out. It means that you require a minimum force of more than about 25 Newton to even give a small separation between those two satellites. So the two satellites will get rigidized, and then the initiation of the power transfer mechanism will be done, where we will transfer power from satellite 1 to satellite 2. This will be used to power a heater in the satellite 2, which will demonstrate to us that the power transfer has indeed taken place, and that will also be seen on that day of the docking itself.
மத்திய அரசின் சமூக வலைதள பதிவுகள் வரும் புத்தாண்டில் கடுமையாக உழைத்து வளர்ச்சியடைந்த பாரதம் என்ற கனவை நனவாக்க உறுதி கொள்வோம் என்று பிரதமர் திரு நரேந்திர மோடி தெரிவித்துள்ளார். இந்தோ பசிபிக் பிராந்தியத்தின் ஸ்திரத்தன்மை, முன்னேற்றம் மற்றும் செழுமைக்கான முக்கிய சக்தியாக குவாட் அமைப்பு திகழ்வதாக வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் டாக்டர் ஜெய்சங்கர் தெரிவித்துள்ளார். கடற்படை தலைமை தளபதி அட்மிரல் தினேஷ்குமார் திரிபாதி குடியரசு துணைத் தலைவர் திரு ஜெக்தீப் தங்கரை புதுதில்லியில் சந்தித்து பேசினார். இந்திய விண்வெளித்துறைக்கு 2024ஆம் ஆண்டு மிக முக்கியத்துவம் வாய்ந்த ஆண்டாகும் என்று விண்வெளித்துறை இணையமைச்சர் டாக்டர் ஜிதேந்திர சிங் கூறியுள்ளார்.